you doing?
Hey guys, welcome to Truck and Travel. I'm Derek.
I'm Cinnamon.
Hey. We have to go over some things that we haven't said. I forgot some things. So last week's video, there's like a day in between where we didn't have a load, and then there was a load Friday. I totally missed it. My fault. But we're going to add it. We're going to go over that. So week 23's was actually better than we thought.
Yeah.
It was below 4,000 and some dollars or something. I don't know. It wasn't looking good, but now it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, this video is sponsored by
Hyfield.
If you're interested in doing what we do and driving one of these trucks for a living, reach out to Hyfield Trucking at the link and phone number in the video description. Let them know Truck and Travel sent you. Come on.
The week was better than we thought, and we're going to go ahead and add that onto this video. And so Friday we picked up in Harwick, Pennsylvania, and it drops in Aurora, Illinois.
So this is actually 7 pieces, and the weight is 4,950 pounds. So this is a little bit heavier than what we're used to. There's no temperature or anything, but it does have a requirement on it, which is hazmat. So we both had to have our hazmat certification, do extra departures and safety precautions and everything like that. So do you want to tell them about the miles?
Yeah, so this is like this requires the team because we had a big deadhead, and it's funny because normally hazmat loads for us are normally really heavy compared to some other things that we normally take. Not a temperature load, but normally the temperature loads are lighter than this for us. Mm-hmm. But the loaded miles in this one was 495 miles. Well, if you include the deadhead, because, okay, so the reason why the deadhead's so big is because we go home after this because we're sick. And that will reflect in the following week that we're gonna go over. So we go home because we're sick. I talked Cinnamon into going home because she was really bad. I mean, you don't want to be sick like she was sick.
Yeah.
So the total miles ended up being 1,049 miles.
So for this load, the pay per loaded mile, so just looking at the loaded miles, that pay was $4.72 per mile, which is a great rate.
Great rate.
But then when you add in the miles to go home and everything like that, it still takes it down to $2.23 per mile, which is great. If you don't know our goal is to have above $2 per all miles.
Yeah.
So still great, even with the surplus of miles added. So this load was actually paying $2,334.71.
Yeah. So it wasn't just going home. That's the deadhead. It's like from the last stop to the truck stop, those miles, and then from that truck stop to this pickup. So that's part of the reason why, because we're not 500 and some miles away from our drop there. So that's that it worked out pretty good.
Yep.
Great. All right, now we're going to go over the correct week's results for week 23. Now we added on this extra load. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and tell us the actual miles.
So the total miles that we traveled during that week was 2,770 miles.
Yeah. And our pay per all miles was actually really good. Our goal is $2 per all miles. We did $2.85 per all miles, even with all them deadhead miles.
That's awesome.
All right.
So if we're looking at the gross pay for this week, it is $7,891.14.
Yeah. So it's not our best week, definitely not our worst week.
But we definitely hit our goal. So
we hit our goal, and for the weekly pay and the pay per all miles, and Cinnamon did it sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now we're starting out with week 24, and Cinnamon got sick, and then I got sick. It was just really bad, so we stayed home. And so this is the following week. This is week 24. This load picks up on Thursday, and drops on Friday. It picks up in Heath, Ohio, and drops in Huntsville, Alabama. It's supposed to say Alabama, but I put Ohio, so it's Alabama.
I'm like, the miles doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So this is a 3-piece or 3 pallets load. The total weight for all 3 pallets is 2,292 pounds.
Yep.
So 2,292 pounds. So the temperature is 10 Celsius, which is 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So not too cold, but not warmer. That's a rare load. Those aren't usual numbers that we have.
It's not.
So that's a surprise.
It's not, you know. So the loaded miles for this one is 523 miles, but if you include the deadhead from our house, it was 669 total miles we did. All right, Cinnamon, go ahead and break down the pay per miles.
That isn't too much of a difference between run miles and adding the deadhead. So
no.
So the 2 numbers I'm going to give you aren't going to be too far off.
Yep.
So if we're looking at just what the run miles would pay, you know, not considering any other miles, then it would be $4.78 per mile for those miles. But since we did have deadhead, we're going to look at all of those miles. And so the pay per mile for all of those miles is $3.74, which is awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And so this load was actually paying $2,500.
$2,500. We bid on this load and we got it. And now we'll see in week 25 if we can get out of Alabama. Usually that's a hard place, but you know, when you're down all week and you need money, the bright side is, you know, we did get a load at the end of the week. We were feeling good enough to take a load, and the pay per all miles is way up there, which is great. It's going to help us with maintenance, fuel costs, and help the owners and us keep some profit. So this is actually the second worst paying week we've had so far. So in 24 weeks, this is the second worst, which I don't know. I don't think that's too bad.
It makes sense though, but if you're looking at it, that is just one load. Like that's not bad at all.
One
you know,
load.
so
our worst week I think was 2 loads.
Yeah.
And that was less than this.
Yeah.
But that was our very first week, and you know, we're just learning. You know, we're still learning at this point.
And this way we had an excuse because we were sick, so we had to take time off to recover and everything. So, yeah.
Sick. All right, now we're going to go ahead and give you the averages and all the stats of our career so far up to week 24, up to this point. All right, so the total amount of loads we've done so far is 68.
So the total amount of freight that we have hauled weight-wise is 67,676 pounds.
The total amount of pallets or pieces that we've done is 152.
The average weight per load is 995 pounds, which is not that heavy at all.
No. And then the total amount of miles that we've done so far is 59,263.
The average mile per week that we usually go is 2,469 miles.
No. And now our average pay per week, she's dropping down low because of this one, is $5,618.76.
Which is still above 5,000, so I'm still okay with it.
Still okay.
So if we're looking at the gross for the truck for the first 24 weeks that we've been in Expediting, it is $134,850.13, which means per mile,
We're averaging $2.28 per all miles, which is great.
So we're still above both of our goals.
Yep.
The $2 per mile and the 5,000 per week. So,
all right. Tune in next week to see if we can do better in $2,500.
Yeah.
God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time.
On to the next one.
On to the next one.
It's cold.
It's very cold.
Yeah.